So you want to know how much money you can make hosting retreats? Well, the simple answer is as much as you want or as little as you want. Keep watching to find out more. In this video, I'm going to share with you, first of all, why people don't usually make money hosting retreats and the big solution that will change that forevermore, as well as certain strategies that you can use to monetize your retreats. And at the end, I'll share one mistake that I see made over and over and over again that I want you to avoid. So before I get into the nitty-gritty details, I want to first share why I'm here teaching you about retreats. The fact is that I have had a business for 13 years, but the first 7 years of that business were no fun at all. They were difficult. I was hustling all the time. I was working myself into the ground, and my business wasn't a retreats business back then. I was doing speaking, training, consulting, and some coaching. And I felt like I was spread so thin and doing so much all the time. It was miserable. Finally, I had a breakdown in 2014, and what I recognized in that breakdown was that I had built the business all wrong. I had built it backwards, first of all. I had tried to meet the needs of the market and sell things that other people wanted and needed, but I wasn't doing the work that I loved to do or what I was really put on this planet to do. And so I shifted my business model to doing these small retreats. Now, I didn't shift it knowing that I was going to get all this fulfillment and joy and prosperity. I shifted it basically because I was desperate and I didn't know what else to do, and I was basically following somebody else's lead. But in doing that, in shifting to this model, ultimately I was able to create exactly what I wanted. And I didn't even know it. I was able to create fulfillment because I really enjoy leading these retreats. I was able to create financial prosperity, and I'll explain more about that later. And I was also able to create a lot more transformation and impact for my clients than I'd ever done before. So I'm going to share with you some of what I learned during these last 6 years of doing this business model. And to just give you a little bit of a sense of the money piece, right? My business before I started doing retreats was doing well into the low 6 figures. And the year that I added retreats, within 14 months, my business broke through 7 figures. So that's a big growth. That's a big transformation. And the reason for that was what I'm going to share with you next. So the first lesson that you've got to understand is that actually making money hosting retreats, the real money, at least in the model that I've discovered and that I use and that my clients now use, isn't in the retreat itself. It's in what I call the big back end. The big back end is what comes after the retreat. So the retreat isn't actually the real money maker. The retreat is what sets you up for the real money maker. Think of it this way. Think of it in 2 parts. There's the front and then there's the back. Think of the retreat as part of the front of the business. It's the thing that brings people in, gives them a really powerful, juicy outcome, and then sets them up for wanting to go further in the journey. So I'll use myself as an example. In my business, people come in because they want a new business plan. They want a new business model, and maybe they're interested in running retreats. That's one of my areas of expertise. So they come in because they want to create a new business model, one that's more joyful, more profitable, more fulfilling. So they come to our 3-day retreat and they pay somewhere between a couple $1,000s and $5,000 to come in, depending on which package they choose. Now notice, my pricing is not cheap, not by normal standards anyway. There's some people that look at my pricing and say, no big deal. But by general standards, I'm not charging McDonald's prices here, right? And that's one of the key things that I said. You can make as much as you want or as little as you want. Pricing is one of the biggest levers that you can play with when you're trying to monetize your retreats. If you're charging $100 or $200 or $500 or even $1,000 for your retreat, you're going to have to work a lot harder to make the kind of money that makes this really lucrative and profitable. So what I recommend instead is to work backwards. Think about the price point that would really make it lucrative, but don't forget, here's the important thing. It's not about the retreat by itself. It's about the retreat and what comes after the retreat, what I like to call the big back end. See, I believe that the money itself isn't in the retreat. You want to charge enough in the retreat that you get really committed, qualified prospects. That's why we charge between $2,000 and $5,000. Committed, qualified prospects that will enroll in some longer journey. So people come into our retreat, to finish my example, they come into our retreat to create that new business model, but then they realize, we help them realize that there's a lot of work to be done to implement this new model. And wouldn't it be nice if they had my support and my whole team's support as they implement it over the course of the next year? So they come in, they pay a decent enough price point that they're really committed, they're qualified, but then the real revenues are generated in the business from the 20 or 30 or sometimes 40 or 50% of people on the high side that enroll into the big back end, into the full transformational journey for the whole year. And that's where the real revenue comes in. And it's not just in that first year, because what's happened for me is that people finish that first year and then they go, I want to stay. What's next? I have a client who's in her 6th year in my big back end. So that's where you start to build relationships of real value, and you can start to build a community or a culture with these people in a place where you don't have to do as much work, because people in their 6th year often want to give back and support people that are just starting out. So for example, in my program, my client who's been here for 6 years, her name is Leanne Webster. I talk about her all the time. Leanne, in her 2nd or 3rd year, I don't even remember, she started helping me lead the retreats. Now, Leanne isn't the only one. I have a handful of other clients that have stayed for their 2nd, 3rd, 4th, or 5th year, and they like to come back and support at the retreats. So you can start to build this community, this lasting community of people that are all giving back, and you're not doing all of the work anymore. So that's how you can make a whole lot of money with your retreats. Number one, creating a really juicy outcome that people want and charging a high enough price for it that you're getting qualified people. And then also, number two, selling into some sort of big back end program that can last for a long, long time. And then building that community that can keep that percolating for the long haul. If you love the idea of delivering transformational retreats and you want to do it in a way that's profitable and fulfilling and energy rich and doesn't drain you, then I can help. If this sounds fun, then click on the link below or go to superstaractivator.com/go and set up time on my calendar or someone on my team's calendar so we can explore and discuss, no pressure, if and how we might be able to help you grow your retreat business.